welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lidiana, but feel free to call me Liddy. And this is the very first video of my travel series, which I am so excited about. If you do not know, I am traveling to the Southern Caribbean for the most part of November and a little bit of December. So with that being said, I am going to be posting travel content from November all the way to the middle of December. It's going to be so exciting, and this is the very first video to start it off. This video is going to be about how I booked my vacation, and I'm going to be answering as many questions as I can for you guys to help you book your perfect vacation as well. So I booked this trip the very 1st of January of this year. I literally remember it like it was yesterday, and I really wanted to book a big trip. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go yet. I just knew I really wanted something that was cost effective, and I knew I wanted to do a big trip. So I wanted to go to multiple places. So I was definitely between traveling on an airplane versus traveling on a cruise ship. It all came down to what was more cost effective. So breaking it all down, I was looking at trips to go to the Caribbean, mainly the Southern Caribbean, because I wanted to go to places that I've never been before. And looking at the airplane tickets, they were pretty expensive. They were definitely in the hundreds, some of them going to the thousands. So I thought it was a little bit too much. That's not even including how much we would be paying for hotel and excursions, etc., etc. Now, it all came down to researching and comparing cruise options. That was the very first thing that I did. Of course, I looked into Carnival, MSC, Virgin, Alzamara, and I looked into another one. I think Holland America, something like that. So out of all of those, my top two favorites were, of course, Royal Caribbean and MSC. I love MSC, you guys. I've never been on one of those cruises before. By the way, I've only been on one cruise ever in my life, and it was a Royal Caribbean cruise, and I loved it. It was for my 15th, so I barely remember it, but I remember I did have a good time. But MSC has amazing deals and really good short trips. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for a shorter trip, to look into MSC. Again, I've never been on those cruises, but just looking at what they have to offer, I was absolutely obsessed, and I was kind of thinking about going on one of their cruises, but I absolutely fell in love with the Royal Caribbean long-term cruise that I found. They had a really good deal going on, so that was definitely the deal breaker for me. MSC had kind of like shorter cruises that were within my budget, and Royal Caribbean just had that really big one that was not really within my budget, but for having so many different places that we're traveling to, I thought it was totally worth it. I also saw that Royal Caribbean has amazing reviews. Their ships are usually very clean and known to be pretty professional and conservative, which is something that I was really looking for. I wanted to go on a ship that was very calm. I'm not really too much into the whole party scene. I want something that I can kind of get away for a while and feel like I am vacationing and just relaxing. So that is really why I chose Royal Caribbean. So now let's talk a little bit about pricing, deals, and discounts. So I ended up getting my trip, I believe, January 1st, 2024. I believe there was a really big promotion going on. It was you pay $9.99 per person, but I think that the other person got like half off. To go to 5 different countries for that price, I thought it was amazing. Remember guys, you also have some food included on the cruise, which I love that about cruising. I know that the buffet is free. I know that some cafes are complimentary. So I was totally for it because so much stuff is already included in that fare. So I was really happy with that. And also keep in mind that it is hotel and it's also transportation. All of that, going to 5 different countries, it's a steal. It was a no-brainer for me. Now let's talk a little bit about the booking process and the cabin selection. So something I love about Royal Caribbean is their website is so user-friendly. So it was very easy for me to navigate through the site and see what it is I needed to book, what it is I needed to pay, where the itinerary was located. It was just very user-friendly, and I truly applaud Royal Caribbean for that, because there are some cruises out there that their websites are just not good. And I'm going to say Norwegian is probably one of them. I feel like their website was very hard to navigate. And again, no hate to them. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. It's just my true opinions. Again, navigating through that website just made my brain hurt, and it made a really easy process a bit harder. The cabin selection was pretty simple for me because I knew that I really didn't mind too much whether I had a window or not. Jose was the same way. Like, we really didn't care if we had a window. So we ended up opting into getting a indoor cabin, it really didn't bother us because if we want to get a nice breath of fresh air, we can just step outside and enjoy the seawater, and it saved us a lot of money as well. Now let's get into Wi-Fi packages. So I definitely got a Wi-Fi package because I use my phone a lot for working. As a business owner, you never know when you're gonna need it. So that is why I am bringing my phone, bringing my laptop, and I got the Wi-Fi package because, again, never know when you need it. I also really did get the Wi-Fi package because I would like to text my parents to see how my kitty cats are gonna be doing. And the other reason I got the Wi-Fi package is because I am doing a private excursion for one of the countries that I'm going to, which I'll get into a little bit later. But I do need to be communicating with the tour guide while I'm on the cruise to make sure that we meet at the appropriate time. So I knew that Wi-Fi was essential. Wi-Fi is really cool because it works by whoever's using it, so it's per person. So we bought one Wi-Fi package, but if I'm using my phone, Jose cannot use it in the moment, and vice versa. So I know that we're gonna be super simple and easy when it comes to that because we communicate and be like, hey, I got Wi-Fi duty right now, and like Jose could go and like do something else while I'm on Wi-Fi duty. So I thought it was totally worth it, and I got it for a very good deal. Another piece of advice that I want to give you guys is to definitely grab a hold of the Wi-Fi packages, dinner packages, beverage, and shore excursions before the cruise, like at least a few months before, so you guys can take advantage of really amazing discounts that they have. Okay, so I see the internet package here for $18.99 per guest per day. We just did one guest, so I believe we paid $197 for Wi-Fi, which is kind of expensive, but again, you're gonna be in the middle of the ocean. I think it's totally worth it, especially for the reasons I said in this video. I'm gonna be talking to a tour guide. I need to be communicating with my parents. I do own a business, so I do have to be on my phone and be on my laptop, so I definitely think it was worth it. Now, there are also beverage packages, which Jose and I don't drink, so we didn't really see the need to get this one. I know they also offer other drinks that are complimentary if you get the package. We decided we weren't gonna get it, but it's all optional, and that's what's amazing about cruises is a lot of stuff is optional, and you're already getting so many things complimentary, so it really is up to you whether you want it or not. We decided we weren't gonna do the beverage package. There are also some spa and fitness add-ons which look really nice. The spa ones were really expensive, like they had massages, but I just feel like they were a little bit overpriced. Remember, I used to work at a spa, so I kind of know what a massage should be priced at, and I just feel like they're a bit pricey. And the fitness is pretty cool. They do have a Pilates class, but it's only 15 minutes long. I thought that was weird. I thought that was so strange. Like, how do you take a workout class for 15 minutes? I don't understand. So I didn't book that because I just felt like 15 minutes was kind of a waste in my opinion. I feel like I can just use the gym myself and look up a YouTube video while I'm on board and just do Pilates by myself. So just always do research and ask questions when you see things like this and you don't know the answers to them. Always call the Royal Caribbean customer service line because they will always help you out and answer your questions. I remember I called about the Pilates and I was like, 15 minutes? Like, are you guys serious? And they were like, yeah. That's kind of short. I was like, yeah, it is. But I'm glad I called because I was really close to booking it. Let's talk a little bit about planning shore excursions and onboard activities. Now, there are a lot of things to do on board. I already know Jose and I are going to be exploring the first 2 days because we are on sea for I think 2 or 3 days to get to our destination. So we're going to be exploring the ship those whole days. And I know that we have an ice skating rink in our ship. I know we have the flow rider. I know that we have like this amazing deck. So I'm definitely going to bring books, and I would love to go ice skating. That sounds like so much fun. I'm just really excited to go on this ship. The ship we're going on is Explorer of the Seas, which is a pretty big ship that goes to the Caribbean a lot. I am so excited about it. I know they have a whole bunch of other activities, but I haven't really looked into it too much. So my biggest recommendation is do your research if you are really excited about the ship. Me, I care about the ship, but I feel like I care more about the destinations. So I didn't really look too much into the ship other than I've seen how it looks, and I wanted to kind of get an idea idea about how everything is, but I didn't want to spoil it too much for myself. So my biggest recommendation is if you really care about the ships, definitely do some prior research just so you guys can see what activities they have on board, what shows they have. I know when I get closer, I will probably get an itinerary and a schedule showing everything that they have there. I know they have pickleball as well. They have a slide. They have so much, and that's what's really cool about Royal Caribbean. They're constantly updating the ship and they have just so much going on, so I truly love that. Shore excursions are very important to look into. There are some people who just like to get to the port and grab a taxi and go wherever they want, which is fine, but I always learned that it's really good to look into the shore excursions because it definitely saves you a headache. When you take shore excursions, you know that you will never be left behind if the boat ends up leaving, because when you're on those excursions and let's say that excursion is running late, the boat will wait for you. So that is the number one best thing about these shore excursions. Some of them are actually really cool. We booked a Panama boat excursion, which I'm so excited about. They totally sold me on that one because I was looking at the pictures and you're basically on like a private boat and monkeys go on the boat and you could feed them. So I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. So I immediately booked it, and I'm really happy that Panama I don't really have to worry about because I have a guide taking us everywhere. So super happy about that. When it comes to the other countries we're going to, I did have a shore excursion booked for Colombia, and I also had one booked for Aruba, but I actually canceled them, and I'm gonna tell you guys why right now. I ended up doing some research and looking up the map of Aruba and Colombia and every single country we're going to, and I saw that Aruba has a beach that is only 15 minutes away from the port. So instead of paying $70 me and $70 Jose to go on a boat and take us beach hopping, I think we were doing like a snorkel beach hopping tour, which don't get me wrong, snorkeling sounds like so much fun, but I already know that we are gonna be so exhausted because Aruba is our 4th location. So we're going to 3 other locations before that. I know we're gonna be exhausted. I just know us. So I ended up canceling that excursion, and I decided that we're just gonna take a taxi to drive us to the beach and back. It is such a fast drive. I was like, we might as well just do that. And looking at the map too, I was able to see that all the shops are so close together and we can just explore Aruba by ourselves. I saw that the same was for Curacao and the same was actually for Colombia. Colombia Cruise Port is really cool because I heard there is a zoo. Like the cruise port is literally a zoo. I've never heard of anything like that. So I already know we're gonna have a blast there. And I decided that we're just gonna take a taxi from the port to the old Cartagena. I also did a lot of prior research from people who went on the same cruise that I did, and they actually said to do certain ports by yourselves and said that it's definitely possible. So I trust that, and I feel like Jose and I are a wonderful team and we got it. With a lot of research, we will be perfectly fine. Now let's talk about Costa Rica. So I am going to Costa Rica as our first destination, and I was not a huge fan of the shore excursions that the cruise had to offer. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the excursions were really nice, but I really wanted to do something a bit different in Costa Rica. I noticed that all of the excursions are going to the same forest, and a lot of them are kayaking, river rafting, a tour at the banana farm, going to the zoo, which is really cool, but I feel like that's not how I want to see Costa Rica. I feel like I wanted to see Costa Rica in a different way. I noticed that the forest that they're going to is very overpopulated because everybody goes there. So I wanted to go to a different national forest so that way Jose and I can experience Costa Rica a little bit more privately and in a different way. I know Costa Rica is really known for their nature. So I also heard that their cruise port is really nice, but the town is a bit less touristy. It's a little bit more local. So I knew that I wanted to also really enjoy Costa Rica's scenery and environment and nature. So I really wanted to do something away from the port. So the excursion that I chose was a private excursion, which I'm so excited to talk about. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in a different video, but this private excursion is highly rated, which I'm very excited about. They meet us at the port and they're taking us to Playa Negra, which is a beach where we're going to go horseback riding. yes, so excited. And then we're going to Cahuita, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, National Park, which is a beautiful, stunning forest where we can see waterfalls and nature, sloths, birds, you name it. So I'm really excited to be going there, and this is a private excursion. So the cruise does not offer this excursion, meaning I have to know when to get back on time. I have to make sure my tour guide knows that, and if something does happen, the cruise ship does have the right to leave us. So I decided that I was going to take the risk because I just fell in love with this excursion, and just by reading the reviews on Google, this is a really well-trusted private tour company, so I really do feel comfortable going with them. I also have the tour guide's WhatsApp information, so I'm able to contact him whenever. Big shout out to Edgar, he's been great, and he answers every question I have, which I promise you guys, every single day I ask him a new question. I just want to make sure that everything goes smoothly. And something that I did learn very recently is that cruises have ship time, and it sometimes can differ from local time. So I don't really know why it's like that. It's kind of strange, but I recommend doing some research if you guys are doing a private excursion, so you can learn a little bit more about ship time versus local time, because it is kind of hard for me to explain. Finally, I'm able to kind of understand it, but sometimes I'm still a little confused. So I highly recommend you guys do your own research on it. But to just save us from ship time, I purchased Jose and I watches that we can manually edit and change to the ship time, so we know what time it is we need to be back, and we're going to be letting our tour guide know. I already know and have a backup plan, and I think that I recommend you guys also have a backup plan. If you ever have a private excursion and go on one, and let's say they are running behind and the cruise ship leaves you, always take your passport with you, and absolutely always have a backup plan and say, okay, what is my nearest airport? How am I going to get to the next port and meet everybody there? Because you can do that. And what's really cool about this specific cruise that I'm going on is every single country is very close to each other, so it's just a plane ride away. But yeah, guys, I think we reached the end of the video. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section. It was so easy to book my cruise. Again, Royal Caribbean has a wonderful website, so big shout out to you, because that was the real deal breaker for me. And great prices, great activities, wonderful service. So I'm very happy and so excited to go on my trip. Please stay tuned for the next video. It is going to be a how I planned my excursions type of video, which is going to be really cool because every single country I planned it so differently, and I printed out maps, and I'm going to just show you guys an in-depth video of how I did that. So definitely stay tuned. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys already know I love to talk to you, and I'll see you guys in the next travel series video. Bye everyone.